living like a gangster. Hey, hey, 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 love yourself first, explicitly. You overtook yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dream. Living like a gangster. Hey, hey. Living like a gangster. Hey, hey. Living like a gangster. Hey, hey. Living like a gangster. Hey, hey.
Hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday with the hallway. How is everybody doing? Hey, Kelly. Hey, Jamia. Hey, Cece. Thank y'all so much for being here. It seems like forever, especially since y'all. How is everybody doing? Let me go ahead and put the link in the chat while I'm thinking about it. Y'all, I ain't even gonna lie. I almost forgot that we were supposed to be going live. I was just getting ready to get something to eat. And I was like, oh my goodness, Wallace, we're supposed to be going live. And the funny thing is, I had remembered just a little while before that, but you know, I'm old. So it slipped my mind that quick. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. How's everybody been? Can you believe? Now, you can't tell if you live in Texas, but can you believe that the summer is coming to the end? The kids already back in school. We right up on Labor Day, but it's still 136 degrees here. So it still feels like summer. I'm sorry, I've been talking. Wallace, you want to say hi to people?
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. Hope everybody, thank you all you guys for joining. Hadn't been here able to join in a while, but I'm glad to be here now.
Yeah, it's been very productive over the last couple of weeks, but you know, yeah, it's hot, girl. It's hot. But yeah, I saw your video. You were sitting outside. You like, I ain't gonna be before y'all long, because yeah, it's hot. It's hot. But anyway, y'all, welcome to the hallway. And so, you know, on the hallway, we talk about all things couples, relationship, marriage. Those of you who want to be a part of a thriving couple or a healthy marriage, we talk about those things. And something that we've run across, because believe it or not, we do research. Everything that we talk about does not necessarily come off the top of our heads. We do some research, and sometimes things kind of strike us because we've been married for a while. And so, you know, we're not always up on, I don't want to say the latest trends, but you know, there's buzzwords and different things. So, oh, you said you ready for this topic, different things that come out. And so I think most of us have heard of the term emotional cheating, which, you know, we know what that is. And that's basically just having a relationship with someone, and it's more on the emotional level and conversations and things. But this micro cheating kind of goes a step beyond the emotional cheating, and some things that you wouldn't necessarily think of cheating, even if as a partner it would bother you. You might not necessarily look at it or, you know, call it cheating. But in my opinion, anything that you wouldn't want to tell your partner about, or you would be nervous if they would find out about it, is some form of cheating. Because not that I don't think that we should have no privacy to our lives, but to me, there's a thin line between privacy and hiding, right?
Yeah, that's a thin line. Yeah, privacy is, you know, just respecting, you know, your boundaries and things like that. Hiding is when you're trying to go out of your way to keep something out of something. Privacy would be, I guess, I don't know, more work-related stuff, or a conversation you had with your brother about something personal going on with him. You know, hiding would be the relationship you know, the conversation you had with the you know, one of your coworkers or something like that, and just kind of led to just inappropriate conversation altogether, because conversation that people that are very familiar with each other will be having, and you didn't share that conversation. So
right,
there's a difference between privacy and hiding.
Yeah, because I look at privacy, like you said, keeping other people's confidences. Like there is nothing that water cooler chat that gets that gets to be inappropriate. But I look at privacy, like I said, for me, as keeping other people's confidences. Like I never, especially as far as what I do as a coach and just having a lot of sister friends, I never want people to think that anything they say to me or share with me is automatically going to be shared with Wallace. So there's a certain privacy level to that where it's not necessarily my privacy, but I'm respecting somebody else's privacy, because just because he's my husband and I choose to share everything about me with him doesn't mean that I should share everything that other people share with me with him. Privacy to me also means that giving me my own time to share things. So maybe something is bothering me and he picks up on the fact that it bothers me, but I just need some time to work it out in my own mind and process before I share it with him. And so you could substitute the word privacy for boundaries, where it's like, not that I'm trying to hide it from you, I'm just not ready to talk about it right now. But when we are intentionally hiding things or doing things that we don't want to share with our spouses, that's when it gets to like the emotional and now micro cheating. And so what I found out in my research when micro cheating first crossed my desk was it goes beyond the emotional cheating, where micro cheating could be lusting after somebody where maybe you haven't even had a conversation, but it's just thoughts that you have. It could be, you know, like the porn addiction that some people have had. It could be still carrying on a relationship with your ex. Like there's a lot of things that go into micro cheating, where it's different behaviors that you can have where.
Well, micro cheating, the way I interpret
Hey, Nick.
is really turned into just a kind of a dressed up word for flirting.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you kind of throw out those little innocent little flirts or something like that, just trying to see, you know, you're doing it just to do it, but you're not really, you know, trying to throw it, but you're inadvertently just kind of throwing out there, you know, those little flirting things and things like that. And that kind of just trying to see in a relate, you know, as you strike up conversations to see how that goes. But that's my thing, the way I see it, because it gets more into the conversational part of stuff. Because it talks about, one of these talk about somebody you may be interested in or someone you may be kind of attracted to. And generally the only people you kind of do that to is people only time you kind of flirt with people are those that you're kind of attracted to. I don't think, that's kind of way the micro cheating kind of intertwines itself into that thing and kind of crossing those emotional boundaries.
Right. And then micro cheating could also be when you talk about flirting. And CC, I need you to type that again, because I don't know what that means. What about sharing eye reels with coworkers? That's risky. Maybe I don't know what eye reels mean, but tell me what that means.
Is it reels like on the Facebook reels and stuff like that? Is that what it is?
I don't know. But micro cheating when it comes to flirting can also, hey, Tamika, can also be when someone's flirting with you and it makes you feel some kind of way.
Reels, okay.
You know, okay. When somebody's flirting with you and it makes you feel some kind of way and you find yourself, you know, making sure that you dress a certain way, making sure that you look a certain way, smell a certain way, because you want to get those compliments from that person and you're enjoying that. That's also micro cheating. And it could be that you've never had a real conversation with this person, but when you start having thoughts and feelings towards someone, especially when it's something that you really look forward to, and you're not coming home and telling your spouse, babe, guess what this man said to me today or whatever, and you don't want to tell your spouse, then you could be going down that road to where it can lead to something inappropriate. And so you need to identify and figure out why you're having those types of feelings.
This is the best way to identify, and you kind of hit it right in the head right there. The best way to identify this. A lot of women, when it's some guy you're not interested in or not attracted to or anything like that, you will come home and you'll tell my husband, this guy tried to give me his number at the CVS today. If it's somebody you kind of think is attractive, you won't share that information. Guys are the same way too, but I'm just saying that's kind of what it happens. It's not even that you think they're attractive. That's hiding, because that's right. Hiding. No. What I'm saying is it's not necessarily if you think they're attractive. You can think people are attractive and still not hide anything. Like thinking somebody's attractive, when you come home and share but there's a feeling attached to it. Right, but I'm saying when you that's the best way to tell.
Right.
So when you come home and share that versus not sharing that.
Right, exactly. But I'm just saying, I don't want people to think that just because they find somebody attractive that's micro cheating.
No,
It's about
you're
a
not.
feeling attached
You're
to
missing
it.
the part.
I
Coming
got
home
what
and
you
sharing
said,
it.
coming home
Yeah.
and sharing it. But I'm just saying, yeah, and sometimes it could be, just the fact that you might not have really thought anything about this person until they said something. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they noticed me. And those are the kind of things that you need to pay attention to. And it's funny that Cece mentioned the Instagram reels. It's that kind of thing too. If you find yourself following certain people on Instagram, sharing different things, making comments on certain things, but it's not something you would want your spouse to know about, or you would feel uncomfortable if they found out about it, then that's micro cheating. These are all these things that seem harmless, but they can lead down the wrong road. And so you just have to be honest with yourself about, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling like I want to do this? And then why am I not feeling comfortable sharing this with my spouse? What if you have a jealous spouse that may take it out overboard? And that's the thing. Some people are jealous by nature, and it really doesn't matter what you're doing. You can just turn your head and they're like, who you looking at? Why are you looking at them? So that's something that you have to think about too. Am I doing something to cause them to feel insecure, or are they just doing this because that's who they are? And being in a relationship with a jealous person who's just jealous by nature, that's not going to ever be healthy, because you're never going to feel like you could just relax, relate, release. You're always going to be on guard, thinking you got to keep your head straight forward. Don't look left. Don't look right. Don't smile too hard at anybody. Don't talk about somebody too often. That's not healthy. But that's why the most important thing is always taking that look at yourself and being honest with yourself as to, am I doing something that's inappropriate? So work husbands and wives are micro cheating. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't even know why we made that buzzword acceptable, because I only have one husband. And whether I'm at work or I'm not, this is my husband. Being cool with a guy at work or whatever, that's fine. But when other people around you are starting to pick up on that relationship and calling it your work husband or work wife, then you're teetering on something inappropriate. And that's really, it's not cute when people do that. They're really trying to let you know, oh, that's word on the street that y'all got more going on than just coworkers, just to let y'all know.
It like I say, it can cross that line, but I think people put that term out there more or less because a man and a woman, male and female, are working closer together or working in certain situations. And people kind of just start throwing that little term out there, mainly in corporate America, your work wife, your work husband, something like that. That doesn't always mean there's something going on.
It doesn't mean that, but that's the perception it gives.
Because my assistant that I had for almost 12 years or so, my assistant and I worked together side by side on it. And when people would say something like that, I said, no, it's not like that. I said, we're like brothers and sisters, because she's like my sister and I'm the brother. And somebody, because our team that we led would be always considered, we go to her for this or we go to you for this. So it's almost like going to mom and dad. So it's like going to your mom and having your uncle over here on the side or something like that, but I think it's all about the relationship, because people put more or less a male and a female because they put that part in there. That don't necessarily mean there's something going on. Now, if they're going out for drinks after work and hanging at lunch and huddling up in offices and things like that, that's a whole different story. But just because they put that label out there, you got to make sure why that label is out there, because it could just be because a male and a female are working close side by side, working together or what, but it can turn to something else. So it doesn't necessarily always mean that there's something going on when that label is out there. Yeah, but my assistant, I love her to death. I miss working with her. She was awesome in what we did. I think we did a lot of wonderful things, and helping the company that we was working for and a lot of the team members that we work for. And trust me, it was no hanky panky, as the old school stuff say. Stay. She was around
before me.
Yeah, Stay knows her, Stay loves her. We still all in communication with her.
But I know nobody called y'all white.
Well, people try to
wife and work.
It's because the male and the female try to put that label out there, So
I knew about the sister and brother part.
That's because that's the way we coined it. We said no, it's no work.
No, but I absolutely love her. But that's also the point too. I knew And like I said, she was before me. Y'all were working together before we even knew each other.
Yeah.
But I knew her from the very beginning, almost as soon as I knew you. And I think that has a lot to do with it as well, because the key point is, are you sharing this stuff with your spouse? You know, does your spouse or your partner know this person? Like, I felt completely comfortable talking to her at any time. She has been invited to our home. We've socialized together. And so that's what you have to really be clear on, because one thing for sure is no one else can determine what's okay in your relationship except for the people who are in the relationship.
Right.
So what works for us may not work for you, but what is going to work for everybody, in my opinion, is having clear and honest communication, because there are people who are out there having open relationships, or wives who give their husband free reign to sleep with other people. Let me see. Well, Neek said, I think everybody looks, but it's how you go about doing it. Yeah, I mean, there is no such thing as, you know, not only having eyes for a certain person as far as not recognizing that other people are attractive. There's nothing wrong. You know, I'll ask Wallace sometimes about certain people, like, or I'll just say, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Do you think she's pretty? You know, whatever. And I don't expect him to say no. Like, that makes no sense. And so it's not about looking, it's not about just recognizing whether people are attractive. It's how you act on it if you are lusting after that person. Let me see. Babe, you are being so distracting. Stay, your face says different. LOL. Yeah, my face said different when he said that work wife and work husband. Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, no, yeah. You know, my face
I think it's more or less
everything over here.
I think it's more or less to what we were talking about.
Yeah, you see the way when I was explaining it, he was like, oh, whoa. It's not necessarily something's going on. Yeah, my face changed. But because I don't like that kind of stuff at all. Because to me, one thing that I know for sure is it's also about shunning the appearance. I mean, I know that's biblical, that's scripture, but one of the things that I said to Wallace years ago when we were first dating, one of my number one things in a relationship is don't have me out in these streets looking crazy. I don't need anybody out in these streets thinking or knowing anything about you that I don't already know about. Like, and it doesn't matter. It's not about me trusting you. And it may sound shallow from my standpoint, because I've shared with y'all before, I'm not one of those people that are going to say, I don't care what other people think, because what other people think can sometimes be life-changing for you, because what other people think is not necessarily what they're just going to keep as a thought. They think it, and then they start spreading stuff. They start saying things, and not that you can completely keep that from happening, because sometimes people will just make up stuff. But my thing is, I live my life in such a way that you're going to have to go great lengths to start crap about me. And so it's just about shunning the appearance and carrying yourself in such a way where you're not giving people ammo to say certain things. And so that's just how I choose to carry myself, because I don't want to be out here looking crazy in these streets. So it's like, whatever's going on, let me know. Wallace, when he was in corporate America, and still now, has to work with women. I don't have a problem with him working with women. I don't have a problem with him meeting with women. But my thing is, if you're having lunch with Susie Q at 11 o'clock at the Ponderosa on Wednesday, I need to know that. So when somebody mentions it, when somebody runs into you and then mentions it to me or says something to somebody else, I don't have that look on my face that I just had a couple of minutes ago. You know what I mean? I don't want to be caught off guard.
But that's one thing I've always done when I did have appointments or meetings with other managers or something like that, and we were going to meet for lunch or something like that, especially if it was a female or something like that. I always let her know, hey, I'm meeting with Heather, I'm meeting with Janet, I'm meeting with her, with Courtney, I'm meeting with so-and-so, just to give her a heads up as a, hey, just in case anybody see, this is who I'm having lunch with, and this is why we're having lunch with. So we're having lunch for. So
yeah, I just don't want to be caught off guard. That's my only thing. And not that I even owe anybody an explanation.
That would be another sign.
But I don't want to be caught off guard.
When you don't tell your significant other that you're having lunch with someone.
Yeah, you can't. Hey, Chris. And that's the thing, too. You can't tell me after the fact, oh, yeah, well, that was just, Cindy from work. No. I should have known about it before. And so those are the things that, you have to consider. Why didn't you tell that person, your significant other, that this was going to happen? And so there's just certain things that I feel like, to be respectful of the other person, that you need to have that open, honest dialogue. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's not even realistic to think that your significant other is never going to be talking to anybody of the opposite sex, or anybody of the same sex and same sexual orientation. If you're not heterosexual, whatever it is, it's the same in any kind of relationship. It's just that anybody that you could potentially be involved with romantically, you need to make sure that your significant other is aware of that relationship, because it's just awkward and it seems like you're hiding something if you don't. And so I think that's the thing that you have to be aware of, as well as also being in touch with your own feelings and your own mindset, that if you are enjoying the company or the attention of somebody, what is that about? Why, if you find yourself thinking about this person while you're at home, if you are finding yourself checking on this person, on the weekends, it's like, you know what I mean? Those are the kind of things that start leading you down that path to being possibly unfaithful. Let's see. Hey, can't stop. Long time no see. And hey, Tamika, I can't remember. I think I said hey to you a while ago. Tamika, let me see. Where am I going to, babe? Where'd you want me to go? Oh, you also have to be secure. Yes. Being secure within yourself is definitely, that's why I was saying earlier, it's always going to be a slippery slope and a difficult task when you are in a relationship with somebody who is just jealous as a person. They lack confidence. But when you're in a relationship with somebody, because it's so important to have that confidence within yourself, and having that confidence within yourself keeps you from just being that jealous person. Like, why are you looking at her? Why are you talking to her? Well, why is this person calling you? Why is that person texting you? But being confident within yourself also should help to give you that spirit of discernment, where you realize, is this something that I should be concerned about, or is this just life? Because again, it would be crazy for me to think that Wallace is never going to have a conversation with another woman. But something else that I think should be discussed early on in a relationship is the whole, how they say, no new friends. And so having, it's the age-old conversation, can men and women really be just friends? Do you think men and women can really just be friends?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's very possible. It's just a matter of what boundaries or what conversation you have in the very beginning of it, of the relationship or whatnot. I try to make it known to, that, hey, I'm happily married. I'm not interested in nobody but my wife. So, there's nothing there. But like I say, if I'm having a conversation, we're just going to have a conversation about this. It's not going to deviate into anything that's could be taken as inappropriate or a conversation I wouldn't be willing to share with you or anything like that.
Can't stop said, I check on my wife and that's it. I like living and breathing. Yeah. Wallace better not be hitting nobody with no WYD and no hope you had a great weekend.
What do you think men and women can be friends?
Do I think men and women can be friends? Absolutely. I had tons of male friends when we first met.
Tons.
Don't be trying to have no face now just because no.
Tons.
I had tons of male friends before we met, and we
let's quantify tons. Let's put a number on that. What's tons?
Oh my gosh!
No, I'm just kidding, y'all.
I had tons of male friends that we were just friends. Right. Yeah, he just trying to. I still remember work wife, work husband. I don't care how many times he tried to give the shock look. That's what he trying to do now. That's called deflecting. But I had tons of male friends. But first of all, did I keep any? At first I tried to keep some of my male friends in the beginning because I had been friends with them most of my life. But as our relationship got more serious and then married or whatever, just in life, there were a couple that it was like, you didn't want me to be friends with anymore because you kind of picked up a strange vibe. And I let those friends go. But when I was single, I definitely felt that it was possible because that's what I did. But once I was in a serious relationship with you, it was no longer possible because I didn't want to have any type of friends that made you feel uncomfortable. And then the ones that didn't make you feel comfortable, it was just, the relationships just
right. It's a strange,
went away.
You say strange vibe. It's odd to me when a guy doesn't want to meet me. If I'm
Right.
the one we're dating at the time before, this before we
But
got
it was
engaged.
never said that they didn't want to meet you. They said they did want to meet you, but it just seemed like every time the opportunity to meet you came up, for whatever reason, they didn't show up, and it just seemed sketchy. And you weren't.
They were just being polite.
Yeah,
when they said
yeah.
that.
I mean, and I agreed with you. It was weird. And so, but as far as male friends currently, I'm on that no new friends. Like if I meet guys or whatever for business, like, there was one guy in particular that I met at a speaking engagement who I thought was an awesome guy. Just off meeting him.
Hey, babe, let me tell you about this man I met.
Right. And that's what I
want
did.
You to meet him.
Because he seemed like somebody who would be a great friend and mentor for me. Just meeting him in that professional setting. We had a lot of the same mindsets when it came to motivating and inspiring, just somebody where, like-minded individual. And so I met him one day, and I'm not the kind of person that's easily drawn to people, but it was something about him and how he carried himself. I was drawn to him in a professional way, in a mentorship way. But I immediately came home and was like, oh my gosh, Wallace, I met this guy and he is absolutely amazing. And I was bragging on him and everything, like, going home to one of your girlfriends after you think you met Mr. Right. But I'm doing it with my husband, like, Wallace, I can't wait for you to meet him. He's just so amazing in the way he spoke and whatever. And I immediately, my next encounter with him was the three of us. And so he became my friend, but he was also Wallace's friend. And of course, him and Wallace ended up being bros and closer friends than us. And so that's the kind of thing it is, because there will be, men or women that we encounter that seem like great people to be a part of our tribe, a part of our circle. And what's even better is when they have a significant other that, you can get along with. But this guy at the time, unfortunately, was single, but still it was about making sure that my husband was aware. So as far as me just having a guy friend that's just my friend and we just go and hang out and text and talk and whatever, no new friends. And I don't expect him to have.
So you go out and meet dudes for me to meet? Or find dudes for me to meet?
We're not swingers, babe.
No,
I don't.
I'm not saying that.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Ponderosa was the bomb. It was the bomb. We ain't funny. We crazy. Let me see. Can't stop saying. In the beginning, my close female friend informed me that my girlfriend, future wife, was making her territory, marking her territory. So she said, I will step back. That's when I learned no female friends. Yeah. And that's the thing. There's still always, even when the relationship is completely platonic with friends of the opposite sex, you also have the ones who feel like they're losing their place as soon as somebody else steps in.
How was she marking her territory? I'm interested to know that.
Yeah. What did
that look like?
Yeah. I'm curious to know what that means too. And it's just, I don't know. I never want to say, because there's a lot of things that we can miss out. Hey, J3, miss out on if it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to talk to another guy. Because the thing is, like I said, when I met that particular guy, he helped us a lot in business. Like, I'm a pretty good judge of character. Like, I knew he was somebody who would be able to pour into our lives. I knew that he was somebody. So I wasn't going to not engage and have a conversation with this man just because I'm married. I just needed to make sure that I did it appropriately. Like when I first, he knew that I was married and we had only talked for like 10 minutes. And I said to him, I can't wait for you to meet my husband.
You see, like say those type things like that. Those are things like that she didn't want to do that, or she didn't want me to meet him or something. When you meet somebody, those are the type of things that we're talking about for us can be micro cheating or can be construed as that. Those relationships that you kind of keep kind of quiet. Right. Not necessarily saying that you are at that particular time interested in having a relationship with them, but you're not sharing that. You're not sharing that information.
Which means you're feeling some kind of way. And those are the kind of things that we have to be honest with ourselves and ask ourselves the question, why am I not telling my husband? Why am I not telling my girlfriend? No, not down with the upside down pineapple at all. And it's so funny. I didn't even find out about the upside down pineapple until like last year. That's so funny. Yeah, you got to watch the friends. And that's the thing too. You need to have so much trust in your partner where you don't have to worry about them being around other people. Like for me, I think I shared with y'all before, what'd you say? I became afraid, LOL, but in choice words, I was informed that a choice needed to be made. You was like, I ain't even asking no questions. I ain't asking no questions. But what I love about the trust that Wallace and I have too is I'm not worried about him. Like I said, I had the conversation with him about I don't want him to have me looking crazy out in these streets, but it was never because I didn't trust him, because I'm not going to be in a relationship with somebody that I can't trust. And I love the fact that if anything, if he's in any kind of situation, my issue is always going to be with him, not the other person, because these women out here don't owe me anything. And I don't care who it is. He's the one who owes me everything. He's the only person that I have to trust. So I shouldn't have to watch my husband around certain people because this woman is fast and this one be doing this and that. And I think I shared with y'all back, when Wallace was pastor in the church, there was a lady who came to church one Sunday and she was a little scantily clad. And I don't know what the issue was. And what I do realize is that everybody doesn't know proper dress attire when they're going certain places. And that might have been her best. I have no idea. She had only been to the church once or twice before. And this particular Sunday she came and she kind of had on her little freakum dress. And she sat right up front, and immediately one of the mothers of the church came to me and told me that I needed to go and tell her to move because she's sitting right in front of pastor with her bosoms all out and whatever. And I'm like, well, if that is going to distract him and it's going to cause an issue with him, then I have a problem with him, not her. I'm not going up there to tell her anything. He is a grown behind man, and he should be able to have enough respect for himself, me, and that young woman to be able to focus on the task at hand, which is not looking at anybody's bosom. It's about sharing the word, and he knows that he's married. So that's the whole thing to me. I don't want to have to look out, or I'm not going to be looking at other women, and I don't want this person around my husband, and this person can't come with us, because my trust is in him, and he's the one who is supposed to be looking out for us, not them. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You had something to say.
No, I was,
okay.
Just
Let's
listening.
see. Cece said, right. Get on the spouse, not the hoochie. Yeah. And the hoochie doing what hoochies do. So the spouse need to do what the spouse do. Pastor will come tell me if someone wanted him. Girl, he like Wallace, because
that's my boy right there. That's my brother.
Wallace come tell me somebody want him every day. And that's the thing too. That is so funny. I wouldn't know what was really going on with Wallace, because this man is so delusional. He think everybody want him. So I have to be, oh my gosh.
No.
You be like, oh yeah. You see the way, and they be 90 years old. It don't even matter what it is. He gonna sit here and say, no, it is. The cashier say, have a nice day. You see that? She telling me to have a nice day. Babe, she telling everybody have a nice day. That's just, but I just let him have it. No, I know you ain't saying it.
You accuse me of being on dates.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is the thing too.
Let's
hold on. I'm too old for the foolishness. I finally found someone who loves me for me. I'm not messing that up. Absolutely. I said absolutely. Jamie has said absolutely. Let's see. Dang, Wallace. You got a good one. He does. Let's see. No, go ahead. What was you going to say?
I admit I outkicked my coverage on this one, J3. I did. So I'm good. Everything's in scramble mode, but we good.
What was you going to say?
Oh, I was talking about, you was telling about me being on dates with this.
Oh, yeah. Wallace is always on dates, right? And so this is the thing, too. I think it was Neek who said you have to be confident in yourself. I'm very confident in myself, and I'm confident in my relationship. I'm also confident in my husband. And when you are married or in a relationship with somebody who is naturally outgoing, somebody who never meets a stranger, you have to be confident, because Wallace talks to everybody. Most of the people don't even want, I can't even say that. I gotta say most of the people don't even want to talk to you, but no, people like to talk to Wallace too. But he'll also talk to people who don't want to talk to him. Wallace is going to make you talk to him. And so I'm going to go to the store and get in line, and the cashier may or may not speak to me. If she speaks to me, I'm going to speak back. If she don't speak, I'm not going to speak. Like, it's a transaction. It's fine. It doesn't matter whether they speak, don't speak, whatever. Wallace is going to speak. Wallace is going to ask them if they're having a nice day. Wallace is going to ask them if their shift is already up. Wallace is, if it's a game day, he's going to ask them, are they a Cowboys fan? He's going to ask them if they like working there. He's going to ask them everything. And I'm standing right there. And again, it doesn't matter, 8 to 80. It doesn't matter to him who it is. If there is a human being standing there, Wallace is going to talk to them. Wallace likes to insert himself. He can't help it. If somebody is having some kind of issue, they could be 2 aisles over and they talking about where they could go to get a good used carburetor at a good price. And Wallace hear it, he gonna go over there and say, hey, I know a guy that knows a guy over here, but whatever you get. And so that's just who he is. He can't help it. He likes to communicate with people. He is a sharer of information. He's a giving person. Me, on the other hand, not so much. I talk to people on an as needed basis. But again, the fact that I'm confident, because sometimes these are beautiful women that he's inserting himself. That would be a pause. Sometimes these are beautiful women that he's striking up conversations with. Sometimes, it's just a nice little old lady. But I just know that that's how my husband is. So I don't have any type of issues with that. I'm always telling him, thank you for bringing me on your date. Because I'll be sitting there like a little kid. Can we go now? And Wallace is busy talking and talking and talking. And so you have to know your spouse. Let me see. First of all, pass it to you. Everybody want them. Everybody want one. I cannot send Wallace to the store without him coming home. And he'll say, babe, see, I told you need to quit letting me go out there by myself. I was out there, just trying to pick up some good beef bacon. And the next thing you know, this lady come up to me asking me where the eggs are. And the eggs was right there. She could see them eggs. Dude, please. Yeah. And so I just tell him, yeah, babe, she wanted you. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Them old ladies been flirting, pulling out the denture. Oh, not pulling out their denture. See, pause. He sure is. I know he is. Okay, stay. We need I and me statement, ma'am. LOL. What's the I and me? See, I'm behind. Yeah, him and Pastor Brothers. They are so much alike, Nick. It's crazy. You have to realize past hurt will manifest jealous words. You have to know when to show the comfort and pour on the love to your partner. That's true. That's true. Because, baggage is a thing. A lot of us like to act like we don't have baggage, but it's a thing. I'm not talking to everyone. The conversation may go too long. Yeah, no, Wallace don't care. And that's why I be standing there like, can we go now? And then I just be smiling. Yeah, I'm like that little kid. But go ahead, explain yourself.
I have worked pretty much in the people development, customer service type industry pretty much all my life, plus being in ministry, being that type of person or whatnot. And I see someone is working a job somewhere, and they seem like they maybe frowning about something. I just always feel like if I can make you smile, if I can help you kind of just help your day go by a little bit faster, not be one of those customers that's going to be a pain in the butt or be crazy about something. If I can just make your day just a little bit brighter, I just feel like I've done my job. So anytime I get a chance to share and be nice to someone, I choose to be nice. Like yesterday, picking up some food, bringing it home. The guy completely messed up our order. Him and his manager both thought I was going to be livid because I was going to have to wait an additional 10 minutes to get our food prepared. And I told him, hey, miscommunication, no problem. Hey, whatever you got to do to fix it, get it right, I'm good with that. And you see how things kind of go. I feel like if I can make it smile, even when the young man came out, he apologized again. I said, hey, man, no problem. Good job, man. I appreciate you guys taking care of me. You got everything corrected. Hey, miscommunication happened. Hey, just a little piece of advice. Just make sure you stay back exactly what the order is. And that way, you can kind of maybe avoid that, next time. And everything was good. So I always feel like if I can brighten up your day just a little bit in those situations, especially those type jobs and things like that, I figure it's good.
Yeah, it's a pastoral thing. I don't know what it is. Wallace is just Mr. Super Friendly. And he is. And like I said, and then he because I'll hear things sometimes and I'll tell him, do not insert yourself. We need to go. Because I know the signs and I see his wheels turning. And so now it's to the point where he recognizes it. And I feel bad a little bit because I know how much he loves it. But he'll be like, see, babe, I didn't insert myself. I didn't insert, because he's always, and I need to start saying interjecting. I don't know. But Wallace is, y'all know those insurance commercials. I can't remember which insurance company is, but when they say buying a new home or doing this turns you into your parents, and the guy will be like, you don't need to say anything. It's okay. No. All right, y'all. Can y'all hear me? Our power went out for a second. I don't know what happened, and it knocked our Wi-Fi off, so I didn't know what happened when I'm driving. While it's, he got nervous. Yeah, that's what it is. Let me know, y'all. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. Wallace just went to go take the dog outside. He was over here whining at the door. So since we got kicked out, yeah, I thought maybe rolling blackout, but it was so quick. I'm like, well, maybe not. But yeah, we back. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I think I was talking about Wallace being like those commercials when they said you turn into your parents. And that's the thing. He's just super helpful. It's just hard for him to, see somebody, like he said, that looks down, or for him to yeah. And what is the temperature here? Or for him to, see somebody in any kind of distress. He's just super helpful. He really is. But you have to be a confident person to be in a relationship with somebody like that, because I know another woman who was in a relationship with a guy who was very similar, and their relationship didn't last because she took everything as flirting. She took everything as paying too much attention. And why are you over there talking to her that long? And my thing is, I don't care. The only reason it ever bothers me with Wallace is because I just don't feel like standing there. We got something to do, because I'm not like that at all. I'm not a small talk person. I don't, it's just not my thing. I don't interject. I mind my business. Wallace don't know how to mind his business. If he thinks he can help, that's what he's going to do. So, but you have to, allow people to be who they are as well. And so that's why sometimes I feel bad when he's like, see, babe, I didn't interject. Because then I'm like, he probably really wanted to. And I kept him. Yeah, it's 99 here, CC. And I kept him. And what time is it? 8:00 at night. And it's 99. So, that's just how he is. And he likes to help. And he's like that, with young people. Because as he was saying, he's been in the service business all of his life. He's been a preacher and a pastor all of his adult life. He also has been a basketball coach for many years. So it's in him to do that. And I am not going to be the person to take that away from him, because that gives him a certain level of fulfillment to be able to help people. And that's something, when you are called into ministry and into a service type of career, that's a part of the things that you need to be successful. And Wallace has people who have worked for him years ago who still reach out to him for advice, for guidance, because they trust him and he has poured into them and helped develop them into the person that they are today. And so I'm not going to let me and my personality difference keep him from, doing that.
Yeah, the bills were paid. I didn't kick a plug out.
Let's see. Can't Stop said, I like my peace. I mind my business. That is too funny. Yeah. I have to end this live early if it wants to keep playing games. Okay. Jamie has said it's 80 here after the rain. Yeah, I don't even remember the last time we had any rain, but I'm excited too, y'all. We're going on vacation tomorrow and we have a late flight tomorrow. And so people will be wide awake and ready to chat. Wallace will probably make at least 3 friends between the airport and the plane. I mean, it's everything. Wallace talks to the guy, the shuttle driver. I mean, he would sit up there and talk to the pilot if he could. He talks to the flight attendants. He talks to everybody. And I get
free stuff too.
Yeah, he does. Everybody likes Wallace. People give him free stuff. We have been like daggone there in the last seat in the plane, nowhere near first class, and they brought him back drinks and whatever. So it has its perks as well. But everybody likes Wallace. I mean, not that they don't like me, but he is just very friendly and very outgoing.
All that really matters is that I like you.
Huh?
All that really matters is that I like you.
Do you like me? Sometimes it's debatable, but the thing is just having, hey, Jody, how are you? Good seeing you too. I had fun sitting and chatting. I ain't even tell Wallace yet that I sat down and chatted with you today, but it's just important. It's about being honest with yourself and being honest with your partner. And we can have all these labels for things, whether we call it cheating, micro cheating, emotional cheating, whatever you decide to call it. The bottom line is anything that you are participating in that you are actively hiding from your spouse or would be feeling some kind of way if your spouse found out, anything that's making you feel some kind of way, which is going down that road of having lustful feelings, that's cheating. Anything that you're doing. But that's why I wanted to mention even like pornography. If y'all are doing it together, if your spouse is aware, that's fine. But if it's something that you're doing and you're hiding it from your spouse, then that's micro cheating. If it is scrolling on social media and liking and commenting on posts, but you don't want your spouse to know about it, that is micro cheating. Go ahead. Was there something?
Yeah, you talk about signs for it being micro, signs of someone micro cheating. Some regular signs are your partner regularly communicates with an ex or a particular person they've never mentioned before. Your special person seems distracted or emotionally detached and neglects your relationship. They are secretive about their social media and communication apps. Your partner makes no mention of you on social media, at work, their circle of friends. When you bring any of these concerns up, they become defensive, downplay it, or they gaslight you.
Mm-hmm. And that social media thing is a real thing. When people say like we're Facebook official. Now, here's what I have heard from people when we have done like premarital counseling or marriage counseling. Social media is a beast in some relationships, right? And so, and also the whole sharing passwords thing. That's we could do a whole show on that.
Guys liking something too much.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the thing is with social media and being social media official, there are some people who just aren't really into social media. So they don't post on social media and they don't really engage in social media. But if you don't really post on social media or engage in social media, what does that have to do with me and you just taking a selfie and I post it? I'm not asking you to post it. I'm not asking you to comment. I'm not saying that you necessarily want to be on social media every day, all day. But if your partner or spouse is throwing a fit every time you pull out the camera, like, don't put me on there, don't put me on there. In my opinion, that's a red flag. I'm not saying necessarily that there has to be something going on, but when you are in a seriously committed relationship, there's that give and take. There's that compromise. Like, hey, I might not want to be all active on social media, but if we take a picture and you post it on your page, I don't have a problem with that. Unless you're in the witness protection system, why should that be an issue that you just show up on social media? Even if it's those of us who are content creators, your significant other or spouse may not want to sit here and host a podcast with you, but why should they be afraid to just walk by and be seen in the camera or just say hello? To me, those types of things are red flags. So there is I'm really into social media and I love it, and I'm not really into social media thing, which is fine. But if they're having a fit about any mention of them on social media, to me, that's a red flag. Yes, do a show on that. Say, yeah, I will, because that's a whole thing. And then also with the password thing, people try to make it. Good night, Chris. Thanks you so much for being here. Girl, yeah, witness protection system is the only reason why I should be like, don't put me on there. Don't put me on there. Because I have seen people almost lose their minds. You take a picture and they're like, don't put that on social media. Like, dang. Yeah, choosing the right partner is not as easy as you think. It's not, but you have to be intentional about it. And you have to have those bold conversations early on.
It's an interview process.
Yes.
It's not something you can jump into, but I know people hire people for jobs, just like when you hire somebody to work for you or a job or something, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, but it's a process you have to go through, and don't shortcut any steps. You got to have those conversations that will lead to getting to who that person really is. And we talk about this a lot. A lot of times when you first meet somebody, you're meeting their representative. You're not meeting the true them. It generally takes at least 90 days before you meet somebody, the true person who it is, because they can only keep that facade for so long. At least 90 days, and pay attention to those 90 days. And I promise you, they will reveal who they are.
And it's important to ask some of those crucial questions early on, and to also, make some of those crucial statements about who you are and what you respect out of a relationship, or expect. I think I said respect. What you expect out of a relationship. The questions that you are probably the most nervous about asking and the most nervous about the responses are probably the ones that you need to ask the earliest on, because why do you want to waste your time and effort without having the answers to those questions? Sharing things for you that are non-negotiables early on in a relationship is important, and it should become easier for you the older that you get. Like before I met Wallace and any other guys that I talked to, there were certain people that I had a half a conversation with and realized that I was never going to talk to them anymore. Like it's not going to take all that. There's just certain things that you can say that I'm automatically going to know this is a waste of time. But so often people want to be in a relationship, so they'll either keep prolonging having certain conversations and mentioning certain things, or they'll try to just ignore certain things. And eventually it's going to come to light. And I rather it come to light early on rather than it being 6 months, a year, several years down the line, because the things that you do not want to deal with in a relationship 9 times out of 10 are not going to change. So why would you keep entertaining somebody without even knowing the type of person they are and if you are like-minded? And so you can't just, ignorance is not bliss, put it that way. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is a recipe for disaster. You want to know what you don't know. And the only way you can know those things is by having the conversations. The whole time I've been on YouTube, my wife has only been on here with me 3 times. I'm not mad. And that's the thing. It doesn't have to be that she's on there all the time or, ever. It's just the fact of when people are like, oh my God, don't put me on her. Like, that's so crazy.
Don't want to be in the picture. That's the big thing.
Right. Don't even want to be in the picture. Don't want anything. And again, what works for you works for you. Like, none of these things are hard and fast rules for every single relationship. But that's why we say it's the hallway. It might not be the only way, and it might not necessarily be the best way for everybody, but it's our way and the things that work for us in such a way that we think is at least worth sharing. Yes, my future spouse must understand social media will be a part of my life. Right. And them understanding that, again, doesn't mean that they have to be a full-on partner with you in all your productions, but it's just
don't have to be all up in
when
your
they
video.
seem like, seem like they're hiding or whatever. I don't know. That's just a bad look. And I've had people say when we've been doing the coaching, well, I'm just not into that. And I just don't like, but it's more than that. When you are about to have a conniption fit just because somebody is posting something, that's no effort on your part. Like, what is the big deal? And if you don't even have a social media account, it's not even like I'm tagging you. And what I was going to talk about, and I keep skipping over, is that whole password thing. Like, why can't we share passwords? Again, I'm not saying it's for everybody, and you might look at privacy differently, but there is nothing in my phone that Wallace can't see. And I think sometimes when you share that password, it's almost like not necessarily extending an olive branch. It's just showing your level of trust and commitment, where that password may not ever be used, but it's just the fact that I know that you trust me enough and you're committed enough to this relationship where you're not hiding anything. We have each other's passwords for everything. Most of our passwords are the same, to just kind of keep it easy because we old. So, most of our passwords are the same that we share on stuff. We have the same kind of, revolving passwords or whatever. But how often do I use passwords to actually get into his private stuff? Not often. It's like, because I don't need to, but I have it because that's just what we decided to do. And I think when you do things like that, it also can cut out some of the suspicion and things like that. But don't share passwords and then change it, because I know somebody who got caught like that too. So sis, thanks for helping me out today with my potential suitor. Yes, anytime. I'm so excited. I got to tell Wallace, my wife is in my favorite thumbnail. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I love that. And that's what I mean. When you are in a relationship, it's about sharing everything. It's about sharing every aspect of your life. And to me, to actually make it a true relationship. And it's not that both people have to be just as interested, but just that willingness to share and partake in it just a little bit. That shows the support. Because if you're all into something and your spouse is dead set against it, at some point it's going to cause some kind of rift. And that's where the compromise comes in too. Like, if you don't want to be on social media just because you don't like it, that's fine, but you should compromise and just do it once in a blue moon. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're showing up every single time, but it could just be being in a thumbnail photo or whatever, because when we're on social media, we're sharing our life, and your spouse or your partner should be a huge part, if not the biggest part of your life besides God. And so why would you want to be sharing all these aspects of your life and not be sharing the most important? So to me, that's just kind of a red flag.
Yeah, one of the key things of all of this is really just setting healthy relationship boundaries, have those conversations. And it's really key that you get on the same page when you start talking about what does someone consider cheating? Some people consider cheating, like we talked about, someone mentioned earlier about having a jealous person. Some people consider cheating looking at someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
having a conversation with someone. Oh, I saw the way you was looking at them, the way you was talking to them. Some people consider things different ways. So it's best to have those conversations so you can get true definitions of what you believe is going to be. And that may be a telltale sign right there if this relationship is right for you, not because they say you can't even look at somebody. That's impossible to do. You'll never get anywhere if you always got to look down. You're scared you might look at somebody. So that's a telltale sign, like, I don't need to be in this relationship.
Yeah,
so it's those red flags are there if you're willing to acknowledge them. And 9 times out of 10, people don't change from what those red flags are. That's why you got to have those conversations.
And something else that we kind of touched on briefly was, and I think when you were talking about the different signs, one thing too is when you are in a relationship with someone who has an ex, and at our age, everybody has an ex, whether it's an ex-husband or wife or just somebody that you were in a long-term relationship with. But the thing is, and especially if you have children, there's going to, with that other person, communication is inevitable, but you have to make sure that that ex respects your current, right? And your forever person. And so not necessarily secret relationships, because it's kind of hard to have a secret relationship with your ex-wife and y'all have kids. I mean, your spouse more than likely is going to know that you've been married before and you have children with somebody. But when that person only wants to talk to you when your spouse isn't around, or, they'll only text, but they'll never call. When that person, still wants to have you be responsible for things that you're no longer responsible for because you're no longer their husband or wife or, whatever your relationship is. Those are the kind of things that you have to be aware of too, because sometimes, especially I'm going to say with men are usually non-confrontational, and men don't like to, have words with us women. They don't want to get into anything. And sometimes men will make the mistake of hiding things with their ex, not because they want to get back with their ex or, they're having a secret relationship with the ex. It's just because they feel like it's better if they don't say anything because they don't want to get the current spouse upset. But that's never a good way to go. And so you have to start things off in the beginning on the up and up by setting those boundaries with the ex, letting the ex know that this is the person who I'm with now. This is the person that I respect. We keep everything 100 in our relationship. And if you can't talk to me in front of this person, or if you can't, be respectful of this person, we're going to have to change the way we communicate. And learning how to navigate that can be difficult for some people, depending on the personality of that ex. Now, can you control that other person? Not necessarily at all, but you still have to create those boundaries and let them know, I'm not going to communicate with you unless you can communicate with me under this set of rules, because I'm not messing up my current relationship behind a relationship that didn't work in the first place. And sometimes, when you're in those kind of situations, that ex will try to test your gangster, but it's just certain things. Now, I'm not saying, and we've had these situations before where Wallace's ex has called him about, whatever with the kids, and he happened to be at work or somewhere else. And it's not like, oh, I can't talk to you now because Stay's not around. No, but it's just, he'll let me know, hey, the kid's mom called me today, about such and such. Again, it's about that open communication. And the more you communicate and the more you share information and the more you discuss what your non-negotiables are, then the less likely you're to find yourself in a situation where it can even appear to be micro cheating. It's like just the other day, my ex called me about something about one of our sons. And before I even answered the phone, I let Wallace know, hey, such and such is on the phone. I'm going to take this call real quick. It's just about respect and just, again, like I said, shunning the appearance. I tell Wallace stuff immediately because I don't want to risk forgetting and him finding out later and then it looking like something like, I don't know. And it might seem like walking on eggshells or team too much. Why I got to do all that. But when you have the right intentions and you are on the same page, things will just come natural. It's little to no effort. it just comes natural. You just share the information.
Yeah, just share it. You shouldn't feel any kind of way about it because you want to make sure you're putting on the right look. You know, like say finding out about different things later, you know, is a whole nother ball game, you know, stuff like that. So it's best to share it pre versus having to explain everything after, because now everything has there's a veil of secrecy around it. Like, why was it that way? Why did that happen? You know, and the person may not say anything, but they start keeping notes and they start looking for stuff. You know, and it's funny how, you know, trust can, you know, takes a lifetime to build it up, can be just shattered in just a moment, just over some BS a lot of times.
Yeah, because what we do have to remember is we are only human, and being in a relationship doesn't make you any less human. And, you know, sometimes we're not always thinking, and, you know, anything can happen. And that's why you want to make sure that you work hard to build that foundation in the beginning, build that trust, so that if anything does look a certain way or something's forgotten or whatever, you already have that trust where you're not even second guessing it. Like it's not that big of a deal. But when you don't have that open, honest conversation, when you don't have that dialogue, when you don't create those boundaries, when you don't have, you know, set the expectations. And the thing is, expectations need to be shared. It's so funny. I was just talking to my daughter-in-law yesterday about men and communicating with men, and just, you know, how men are just different, and we have to tell y'all everything. You're not going to read our minds. You're not going to, you know, always ask the follow-up questions. And we do have to consider that too. Men and women are different. And so the more you talk, the more you share, then the easier it is to have an understanding and be able to create a relationship that's going to sustain. And so we can't just have these expectations that are unfair because we just assume that they're going to know this or that would bother us, because they don't think the same as us. Like I said, sometimes men may hide things or not say things just because they don't want the confrontation. They just don't want to make any waves. They don't want no problems. But if you already have communicated the expectation, then they'll feel more comfortable doing it. And so if you start dating someone who has an ex-spouse, who has children, talk about that early on. What's your relationship with your spouse? How do you all communicate with each other? You know, talk about those things. Don't just assume that everybody who is broken up doesn't communicate. You know, just because you don't communicate with your ex doesn't mean that they don't communicate with their ex. And you want to know, what exactly is that relationship? Are you just co-parenting, or do you consider yourself friends? You know, just different things, so you're not caught off guard or getting your feelings hurt or losing trust because things didn't go the way you expected, because you can't have any expectation from someone without having communication.
Right. They say communicating, setting those boundaries, getting a clear understanding. You know, you're always supposed to get an understanding. That is the way you're supposed to live life. Get an understanding, because there's been a whole lot of people that went off and said, I just put it like this: a whole lot of people went off and acted a fool on the wrong stuff. So it's best to get an understanding so you can make a wise and informed decision. And you have to do best to do that in for relationships. And if you want to be one-on-one, you know, have a growing and thriving relationship with your spouse or significant other, or a partner, or however you want to word it nowadays. I don't remember all the hip terms, but communication
hip is not a hip term.
And getting an understanding is hip's not a hip term. Getting an understanding is going to be vital to that.
Yeah. So y'all, look, we got to finish packing because the hallway is going on vacation again tomorrow. Thank you so much, Cece. I am super excited to go on yet another vacation. I was talking to my friend Jody today, and she was like, y'all always going somewhere. And I told her, I said, I feel like I don't never go nowhere. I need to go on vacation every month. But we're going on vacation tomorrow. Y'all know I had kind of backed off of my vlogging for a little while, but I may do a travel vlog. I'm still not 100% sure, but I may do a travel vlog and share that with y'all. But I'll make sure that whether I do a travel vlog or not, I have some content prepared to drop while we're gone. But looking forward to some rest and relaxation and some good old-fashioned funk music. We are going to Funk Fest in Virginia Beach. So we're going to see some great old school groups. We've gone several times and absolutely love it, but we haven't made it the past couple of years. So looking forward to that. Going to visit with my best friend, Adrienne. We're going to be staying with her. So it's going to be great. So we probably won't see y'all. Oh, we may see y'all Tuesday. We may see y'all Tuesday. But if not, you know that's why, because we are still traveling. I may do a pop-up live. Thank you, Joe. I may do a pop-up live while I'm there too. But yeah, so just stay tuned. But you know, we appreciate you guys so much. You too, J3. Have an awesome night.
Be safe, my brother.
So y'all have a great night.
Can't stop. Take it
yes, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button before you exit. But y'all know the drill. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. Always be kind and love one another, but never forget to live your life. LYFE. And we'll see you next time in the hallway. Bye, y'all.
Living like a gangster. Hey, hey. 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 Love yourself first, explicitly. You overtook yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams. Living like a gangster.